Hello, ladies, and welcome to the sexy side of menopause. I'm Beverly, your host, and also the CEO of Beverly Hills Health and Wellness Coaching. I'm a certified health coach, and I'm the founder of the Body and Lifestyle Academy. So, in my coaching business, I help women just like you to break through the stigma of menopause and lean into a fabulous, confident, and sexy new vision of themselves through a holistic journey that I refer to as stepping into a powerful next level life. So I come to you inviting you to celebrate with me. I am entering my second year as a podcast host, and I have to say, I am so absolutely thrilled with the amazing conversations I've had in this journey. I actually was considering the possibility of a podcast quite a while ago when I was going through some high level coaching. I was encouraged to get my message out in broader platform. And the purpose of what I do is to empower women on this journey. When I started back in 2017, there was no information hardly available on social media about going through health and wellness challenges as you're navigating menopause, what to do, how to seamlessly get on the other side unscathed, and just understanding what's happening. I wasn't seeing that. It was only a couple of years ago that Oprah Winfrey started to have these conversations around her menopause experience. She brought some celebrities in to talk about their experiences. Barack Obama's wife, Michelle Obama, was one of the ones. Our first lady in the past was one. Also, Drew Barrymore on her show talked about it. Marie Shriver was a part of it. There's a litany of women that have come forth. Holly Berry has been on Capitol Hill talking to the legislature about it. There has been a lot more conversations around this space of menopause, but I found that a voice was missing. And instead of complaining about something, it's important to step into a space where you see a gap and make a difference. And that's the purpose of the sexy side of menopause. I found that although over time there's more conversations around menopause, which is great because it was a point where menopause was one of those little hush hush conversations. Now it's a lot more open, but there seemed to be a lot of negativity around menopause. It was something that we had to tolerate or just press through, and there was nothing exciting or something that was opening a possibility of a next level life that was a part of the conversation. And that's where I came in, the sexy side of menopause, because I went through the journey like every woman does. If you live long enough, you will go through it. So the sooner you can find out about it, the better. But just knowing that these navigations of this time of our life is different from woman to woman. And as you're navigating this, what do you have to look forward to? What's next? And I wasn't hearing positive conversations. And so I decided to, okay, let me have my own conversation because I know women globally. I have traveled the world, and I'll tap into a little bit of that conversation as I go along. And these women are doing phenomenal things in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and even 80s. Phenomenal things in life. And I'm like, where are those voices? Where are those conversations? Where's the inspiration around the corner once we navigate and figure out what's happening with our hormones? What's next? Thus, the sexy side of menopause is born. And that's what I have shown up to do every month on this podcast, bringing conversations of these powerful women and men as well. So what I like to do is I have notes here I need to take a look at. Is just kind of walk you through some of the conversations that I've had over this past year and encourage you to subscribe, like, and share It lets me know that it makes a difference what I'm doing. And also for women who may not know that this conversation is available, and sharing that and bringing them into this community. It's really important to, as we're navigating this, is to be in a community so we don't feel so isolated and alone. And I'm hoping, and based on the feedback, I'm reaching that goal. So let me check my notes and we'll talk about some of it. So my very first episode was talking truly about the sexy side of menopause. And this was with a young lady I refer to as Debbie. Please go back and check the playlist and you can find all of this. I'm just going to hit the highlights a little bit. But Debbie is a sexuality specialist, and she talks about sexuality and all aspects of bringing in different components into that conversation. And I won't spoil it for you, but it's worth taking a look at the replay and also following her, because I met her in a event several years ago, and she just blew me away by her conversation, because once we get into this space of menopause, it's like nobody wants to talk about sexuality and women's sexual needs and what's happening to our bodies. And we're taking it there. I will go there. I'm the person, honey, I'm gonna bring you the real story. Okay. So we were talking about sex and how you can just have the most fulfilling life as you're going through this menopause journey. Of course, there's things that's happening, your body's changing, but it's not something that's going to prevent you from having the most amazing sex life ever, ever. Okay. So next I had a conversation with a gentleman. His name was Juan, and he reached out to me because he saw my conversation around menopause and he wanted to have a better understanding for the men. And for him, he was watching his wife going through these challenges and he wasn't really understanding what was happening. So he took a interest and started going to doctor's appointments with her, trying to be the partner that supported her in this journey and giving him knowledge to be able to be whatever he could do to support his wife. And to me, that is sexy as hell, to have a partner in your corner while you're navigating one of the most challenging times of your life and not really understanding it, because nobody really took the time to give us this information about menopause. I'm a baby boomer. When I was coming up, we didn't hear anything about menopause. It was like the change was the word that came up from time to time, but it was very quiet conversation. And you were not a part of that conversation if you weren't one of the elders in the room. So how are you supposed to know? Now we have technology and all of these other aspects of finding out about topics that brings it to us in a current manner. And then communities like I have here, where we're trying to bring women to share about their experience and be open and give you some knowledge that can be beneficial as you're navigating this journey and talking to your medical professional about what you're experiencing. The next conversation was with my dear friend, Dr. Felicia. She's known as the diva in the industry. She works with matchmaking, helping you level up, living your best life, and being unapologetically living at a luxury level. And she's the most amazing woman that I've seen in that space. She does it like no other, the luxury love diva. So check out Dr. Felicia. And she also is really good about talking about your value and your self-worth. She talks about the challenges that she had went through her life, how she got over it, and just married the man of her dream, flies around the world, and is in London and Paris and all of these amazing places. So please check her out. She's so awesome. I love her so much. And then I had another conversation with a young lady. She was from Africa, and she brought in a lot of conversations around her upbringing on how to take care of your body and navigating your health. So by the time you hit menopause, you're able to take care of your body and nourish it. Because one thing that's key about this space is understanding as your hormones shift, You have to nourish your body properly. Eating these fast foods that you pick up on the quick run, drive-through line is not servicing you because it has so many chemicals in the foods, it has so many unhealthy oils that it just doesn't serve us. As we get to this space, our bodies are screaming for nourishment. Next conversation I had was with a doctor. Her area of specialization was therapy. She talked about how therapy can help you navigate this season of your life. She's a phenomenal woman. She has her own practice. And one of the things that I was taken aback was a conversation we had. I met her at a conference, and she told me that she had been featured on Times Square on one of these big billboards. And I'm like, oh my God, show that to me. And this woman, in the prime of her menopause, is showing up in Times Square on one of the biggest billboards that's iconic in the world. And she's doing this. Amazing women doing phenomenal things on this menopause journey. So don't believe the lie that the best years are behind you. I'm sure you have some amazing years, but honey, it gets even better. Then I had Dr. Karen on. Dr. Karen Clark Bennett, she is actually a medical doctor, and she talked about hormone replacement therapy. She has a practice, and you can check her out. She has a clinic, and she can walk you through what options are available for you on the medical side. And she has procedures that she can do in her office to help you if you want to go a pharmaceutical route to get something to help you with your menopause journey. I advocate doing your research, understanding what the holistic journey would look like. I'm a holistic coach for women who are going through menopause and seeking support. If you're interested in going a route with a medical doctor, understanding what type of pharmaceuticals are available to you and knowing that there are side effects that are going to come with that. So just understand, do your homework, and make the best decision possible. But you need a partner on this journey. The next one I had a conversation with was Latrice, and she so inspired me that I followed her. I signed up for her coaching program. Latrice is in Paris, and she studied to become fluent in French. And she said her instructors was telling her that she was not going to be as fluent when she was studying in the US learning French. So she would need to go to France. So at some point, she transitioned and moved to France and became fluent in French. And now she's like living her best life between the United States and France. And she has a business, and she helps women to dress chic. You know, Paris is all about fashion and all of these important touches of elegance. Oh, she's just amazing. So I would encourage you to check her out. I still follow her. She has events that are constantly going on. So follow her, check her out. As a result of working with her, I actually ended up staying in Paris for 2 months myself. I ended up starting in Paris for a speaking event I was invited to be a part of for International Women's Day. Went on to start French classes of myself in Paris, then traveled around Paris and went up to the Netherlands. I was all up in Amsterdam. Oh, girl, I was living my best life. You hear me? And I ended up closing out my trip with a celebration for my birthday in the Champagne region. And Champagne is only found in Champagne, France. And that was the most amazing experience. Got a chance to go behind the scenes to see how champagne is made, pairing it with certain foods. Had a wonderful behind the scenes tour with some amazing individuals, and it was outstanding. So you can live your best life on this journey. So my intention is to, of course, go back to Paris. That was, I think, about my 5th trip to Paris, but that was the first time I had a chance to stay for an extended period of time. So a couple of months, you really learn how to navigate the city, where to shop, where to eat. And Paris has like 20 arrondissements, which is like these different districts of Paris. So I've been to several. So my goal is to hit every one. So follow me, honey, because we will be going back. So I had a conversation with, her name was Lawana Bradford, and she has an amazing business. She's in real estate. She's in investment. She helps women to scale their business, working with you as a strategist. I actually have a conversation with her. She was talking about all of the wonderful things that she's done in her business over 20 years and how she's now supporting women. And she also gets very vulnerable and talks about the challenges that she's been through as she was going through her menopause journey. But she came through it, and she has an amazing testimony and doing phenomenal things to help women to level up and be the best version of themselves on this journey. If you're interested in procuring business investments or something within that financial area, she's absolutely phenomenal. She lives between the East Coast and the West Coast. So these ladies are living their lives globally. So the next conversation that I had was with, how do you pronounce her name? She's a very unique name. See if I can get it right. Zolani, I think it is. She's from London. I hope I said that correct. Zolani is a therapist as well, and she brings the perspective of living your best life globally. She had a young daughter, I think around, preschool age, traveling around the world with her and her daughter, doing her business as a therapist and just enjoying a phenomenal life and not being held back as a single parent. So her work is very inspiring. She helped women to get out of their own way, work through whatever traumas you have so you can make your life to be what it is, to get rid of the excuses, just be all in. So that was absolutely wonderful. I had a conversation with a young lady that worked in the business sector. She helps women in C-suite businesses to be phenomenal. Don't be the wallflower, show up 100%, be the boss of the room. And her name was Cheryl. She is phenomenal. I met her at a business conference as well. That's another thing. Like, get in the community where these powerful women are, and they will show you what they're doing or how they got to be where they are. And it will just give you the motivation to just like tap into like, no excuses. Let's get this done. So she's just awesome. I would encourage you to check her out. I also had a conversation with Kita. She's very intentional about pronouncing her name correctly. And she is a coach that works with women who are going through relational changes. So if you're going through a divorce or you're in a situation where you're just questioning your self-worth because you've been through so much, we talked about how that impacts you, how you get on the other side of it, her practices that she do personally, and how she helped women to be absolutely powerful as they're going through these relationship shifts. And one of the things that I will tell you for sure, and I have noticed this over and over and over again, I don't have the statistics. I know 50% of relationships end in divorce. We kind of know that statistics, but the number is even higher for women who go through relationship changes or divorces along this menopause journey. So you have to understand that this menopause journey covers like 3/4 of our lives. So if you think about that, from the time that you're in your early 40s through the remainder of your life, you're postmenopausal, there's a lot of things that are changing in your life. Your children are growing up, going off to college. Maybe some of us are empty nesters, going through relationship changes. Your spouse may die. Your spouse may decide that, you can't make this work and you want, different things in life. You get a divorce. Sometimes careers happen, people move in different places, and all of a sudden there's a breakdown down in communication. Then you have your aging parents, and then you possibly are having your own health concerns. If you haven't taken care of yourself, you find yourself in doctor's office, maybe having all of these different appointments. Like, life is happening. So as life is happening, who's helping you? Who's supporting you? Who's giving you that encouragement, that partnership, that accountability to get you through it. And a person like Lakita can make all of the difference as you're navigating that. So that was a really phenomenal conversation. I loved her. And we actually talked about maybe having a part 2 of our conversation because it was so powerful and it went so quickly. But it's one of those conversations that we need to have. And it's not a conversation to make you feel, you know, my life is over if my relationship doesn't sustain itself. One of the things I can tell you for sure that I have learned, and I will put this on my epitaph, life is full of change, and you have to be able to navigate the change. When you're not able to navigate this change, you will find yourself in a space that you can go into a space of depression. So just understanding life has cycles to it, things change just like seasons, 4 different seasons. You have to be able to dance with life. One of the things I think about is like when storms come, these trees that are able to bend and flow and move, they are in these spaces for years and years and years. And for those other trees that don't have the deep enough roots to sustain the currents of wind and the different storms that come, they just snap and break. You have to be that tree in a sense, have these roots, have your principles, your foundation, and your values, and be able to weather the winds of life and flow with it so you don't snap and break. And I know that's like easier said than done, but it's important to be in community, to talk to people, understand how life transitions as we're living this life of ours, and understand what is happening along this menopause journey. And I think that's one of the most challenging things about this journey, not having enough conversations and understand what's happening. It makes it difficult and we're suffering in silence, and you don't have to be. There's help for us on this journey. And if you don't have anyone that you could think of, I'm your advocate, reach out to me. My contact information is always available. I have a website, which is beverlyhillscoaching.com. You can always book a session with me. And I'm here to support you, honey, because I think I've been through so much. This session is not about me, but getting to 60 years, you have a lot of life that you can share with others. And that's what's important to me as I'm working my way along this journey. Is like, okay, I'm an elder now that's able to provide information from those who are coming along to help them not have such a challenge as they're moving along this journey. So support is there. All right, so a couple of more. Like I said, I had a whole year of conversation, so there's a lot to check out, ladies, and there's definitely something for each one of you as you check out the episodes, and each episode is less than an hour. So the last one I want to point out is I had a experience in Paris where there were so many women, hundreds of women from all over the world that landed in Paris for this event for International Women's Day. And I was able to meet with so many of these women, one from India, one from Singapore, one from Malaysia, plenty of women from the United States. And as we were having these conversations, we said that let's stay in contact and do something globally together. So we've been talking about doing a retreat. And one of the women that I met there, her name was Aruna. And she actually is doing her first event, and I am a part of her event. I will be talking about menopause. I will be talking about the power that we're not aware of when we go through this menopause journey, especially when we get into postmenopausal timeline. Women have been so a lie as far as I'm concerned, because there's this phases of our lives, and it's like the maiden, the mother, and the crone. And when you think about crone, that's the woman that's in our postmenopausal state, and society has demonized her, but she is the most powerful woman. She's so intuitive, she's so wise, she's so knowledgeable. Back in many years, in different indigenous groups and different cultures, they would come to this woman for guidance. The men would lean to her wisdom to how to navigate and how to go about doing their hunting and how much they can take from Mother Earth. Like, these women are amazing, and I own that 100%. So just knowing your power, remembering who you are, it's phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal. So I'm just going to leave it there as far as the episodes that I've covered over this year. And I have many already scheduled into the new year. One woman is going to be talking to us about fashion as we go into our menopause and postmenopausal phase, what fashion works for us, what colors work for her, for us as individual. I know red is my power color. I love red. Also, I have a woman that's coming in that's going to be talking to us about more travel. I've connected with a couple of women from other parts of the world. I actually am looking to spend some time in Thailand. Like, I lived in Asia for a couple of years, but there is a big expat community that's growing in Southeast Asia. So I'm coordinating with someone there to spend some time in Southeast Asia, like to land in Thailand, maybe go to Malaysia, Cambodia. There's to Vietnam. There's just so much available once you get over there. That flight is like 2 days almost. But I do have something special that's coming up and want to encourage you to stay plugged in and be a part of my journey, because as I'm navigating my menopause space, I'm sharing it with you to encourage you to be the best version of yourself. So I'm on what I call my year of travel, my sabbatical, and it kicked off with Paris. I spent a couple of months in Paris, a little bit business from the beginning, and then the rest was pleasure, leaning into things that were on my bucket list that was important to me. I had the opportunity to go to Dior. If you haven't had a chance, check Dior out, major fashion house. And also there's this cafe there, and they have this phenomenal cake called their Star Cake, signature Star Cake. Had coffee, drinks there with a friend. It was absolutely a phenomenal experience. I actually have a clip of that in my YouTube. What else did I do? Spent a couple of months on the beach. I'm a beach girl. I grew up on the beach, spent my life swimming. And so I hit the Carolinas, all up and down the East Coast. I love, there was one beach I went to, was Atlantic Beach. That was amazing. I think this is a beach that became popular because of Michael Jordan. He played basketball in North Carolina and has since gone back and given a lot to the state. And the Atlantic Beach is a big draw now. I went to several others. Myrtle Beach, been that, done that. It's okay. I've done that. I was like part of family life with all the kids and all the responsibilities, like some trauma come back to like taking care of all of the family, making sure everybody's good and safe. But now I'm on my leisure travel. Next, I am going to, you ready for it? Drum roll. I'm going to Egypt, and it's very soon. I've been having these calls to get prepared for the travel to Egypt. That's a lengthy trip. We fly from, I'm in the DC area, so I fly from DC, go into Dubai, and then from Dubai, I go into Cairo, Egypt. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll be there for a while, going with some other phenomenal women that are professional, and we're going to be navigating our way around Cairo, other areas, hitting temples, going to villages, Nubian villages, just understanding more about life during that era where we had queens who were dominating. And that's what I'm really interested in. Goddesses who were tapped in, who knew what we needed to do to take care of ourselves and take care of our communities. And there's just so much power in Egypt. So I actually worked in Africa, so I'm familiar enough about getting there, but each country in Africa is a little different. So Egypt has been on my bucket list for so many years, and I often didn't get a chance to go when other family members were going because of work schedules and things. And that's the thing about this menopause journey. Now, my schedule and my life is my own. And I am living fully 100% my best life right now, my best life. And I'm not saying my life is perfect, but these things that I thought of when I was much younger as a possibility, they're coming to fruition. And I want to encourage you, ladies, if you're in menopause or on this menopause journey and feeling overwhelmed and don't know where your joy is or how to navigate it, reach out to me. I'm happy to help you. I have so many programs where I've worked with women very successfully. On my website, you can see some of their testimonials, some of their video clips, all about my programs. And then I have some programs that are not there. There was one that I developed as a result of being in Paris, and it's called the Passport to Power. And it's basically about bringing in the joy de vivre. And that's a phrase from Paris, which is all about bringing in the absolute joy of life. And if you have made it to this space in your life as a woman on this menopause journey, it is time to live full out and live joyously. And it is there for each and every one of you. So again, thank you for being here, celebrating me and celebrating the accomplishment of Beverly Hills Health and Wellness Coaching in our second year on the podcast of The Sexy Side of Menopause. If you have a story and you are open to being a part of the community, reach out to me. I'd love to highlight you or spotlight what's happening in your life so you can encourage other women who are on this journey to see life gets even better. So with that, ladies, take care. Thank you again for being with me. Share, like, and subscribe. And I look forward to being with you next time on The Sexy Side of Menopause. Take care. Bye, ladies.